Elizabeth has started horse riding lessons. Her timing couldn't be better because Lila's father just got her a horse. Lila is a spoiled snob, so it only took a day for her to get bored with the horse and move on to something else. Elizabeth is jealous that Lila the snob gets a horse when she doesn't. Elizabeth deserves to have a horse! Really, Elizabeth? What have you done to deserve a horse recently?
Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review.
Thanks to the horse, Lila is extra popular. Lila takes full advantage of this. She'll give free horse rides to anybody who does her homework. Someone should tell the teachers about this. Lila tries running the same scam on Elizabeth. I'll let you ride the horse if you write a newspaper article about me. Lila does a really terrible job of pretending to be Elizabeth's fake friend. She's openly disgusted at everything Elizabeth says and does. Elizabeth says no, and honestly, the story should end here. Jessica meets Thunder the horse. She's so happy about Thunder, Elizabeth changes her mind. She agrees to meet with Lila. Lila shows up 20 minutes late, complains the whole time, and she says mean things about Elizabeth's friends. Yeah, she's terrible. But it is worth putting up with Lila, because Thunder is the best horse ever. Riding him is so easy and wonderful. It's like Elizabeth was destined to be with him. She loves that horse more than she will love several of her future boyfriends. After riding the horse, Elizabeth interviews Lila. I'm confused because the book makes it seem like Elizabeth interviews Lila a few times a week for several weeks. Why? Can't Elizabeth interview Lila once? That should be more than enough for a puff piece in the school paper. Lila invites the twins over to do math homework. It's a trick so Lila can copy Elizabeth's answers and give them to all the other Unicorn Club members. Elizabeth feels awkward when she realizes what's going on, but she puts up with it without complaining, because otherwise she won't get to see Thunder again. Elizabeth mistakes a new stable boy for a horse thief. He's Ted Rogers. Thanks to a bad leg injury, riding is the only sport he can do. He wants to be a horse trainer someday, and he occasionally hangs out with Stephen. Jessica gets a crush on Ted. She's offended to hear he thinks Liz is prettier than Jessica. Excuse me, we're identical twins. Yeah, I would rather date Elizabeth than Jessica too, but that's not because I think Elizabeth's the pretty one. It's because I'm scared Jessica would set me on fire. Lila is officially over Thunder. She doesn't want to ride or groom the horse anymore. Elizabeth volunteers to do it. After a few weeks of only Elizabeth and no Lila, everyone at the stable assumes Elizabeth is the horse's owner. Ted encourages her to enter the owner's-only competition, because you can definitely go from total beginner to horse riding pro in under a month. Jessica is jealous that Lila and Elizabeth are getting so friendly. Lila calms Jessica down by lying to her. When Jessica finds out, she throws a huge temper tantrum for Mom. Elizabeth stole my best friend! She doesn't even like Lila, she just likes Lila's horse! Because Jessica would never pretend to be someone's friend in order to get something out of them. Lila invites Elizabeth to a Unicorn Club party. Elizabeth feels uncomfortable the whole time. When the unicorns make fun of Amy, Elizabeth comes to Amy's defense. She says Amy is not a loveless loser. Ken kissed Amy at Julie's party last week. And whoa, what? Amy and Ken have become an official couple? I want to hear that story. It is 100% more interesting than anything else in this book. We get a bunch of liar reveal scenes all in a row. Jessica reveals Elizabeth doesn't own Thunder. The unicorns reveal they know Amy kissed Ken. Amy reveals Elizabeth is going to ride Thunder in the competition. Elizabeth reveals the truth to the horse, because of course she wants the horse to understand her feelings. There's a big confrontation at the horse riding competition. Naturally, Elizabeth sides with her family and Amy. She tells Lila off for being a selfish, manipulative jerk. Lila learns she'll get a ribbon if her horse wins the competition. She immediately tries to get Elizabeth to win the competition for her. Elizabeth laughs and refuses, because Lila clearly didn't learn her lesson. I honestly think the story should have ended here, with Elizabeth as the hero and Lila getting her comeuppance. Maybe the author thought that would be an unfair ending. Oh, not to Liz. Unfair to the horse. The horse deserves a happy ending. So Ted rides Thunder in the advanced competition. Everybody watches as Thunder wins! Nobody mentions that Lila will now get a horse riding ribbon that she doesn't deserve. Ted buys Thunder for $700, and Jessica tells a dad joke. What hotel room do horses like best? The bridal suite! The end. Post-book follow-up. I like how this book was Elizabeth versus Lila, not the usual Elizabeth versus Jessica, with Lila trying to pull Jessica to the dark side. Since the series has no interest in redeeming Lila, she can be more of a villain than Jessica can. That said, the story requires Elizabeth to be out of character the whole time. She would normally not go along with Lila's schemes. Similarly, Jessica would normally love to have Elizabeth be a member of the Unicorn Club, but the plot forces her to be jealous of Elizabeth instead. You can decide for yourself if Elizabeth loves horses is a good enough explanation for Elizabeth to throw away all of her morals and dignity. I wonder what would happen if Elizabeth called Lila's bluff. So what if Lila refuses to let Elizabeth ride the horse again? Elizabeth has ridden the horse dozens of times without Lila's knowledge. I doubt Lila said no would be enough to get the new sneaky Elizabeth to stop. I think the book story is hurt by the fact that it jumps ahead a month without explaining what happened in the interim. Why hasn't Liz written a newspaper article in all that time? Did Lila steal Liz's homework every day? Why hasn't Jessica seen Ted once in all of that time? The story of Jessica's crush on Ted should have been cut from the book. It gets the least attention, and it's kind of odd that Jessica doesn't comment when her sister talks to her crush every single day for weeks. Remove Jessica's crush on Ted. Use the extra space to smooth out the other stories. Lila gives homework answers to all the unicorns. Is Jessica part of the scheme or not? Jessica tries to steal Liz's homework all the time, after all. No one really comments that Elizabeth is acting just like Jessica in this book. That is a lost opportunity. Overall, it's fine for a book where there's a lot of horse stuff and the twins don't act like themselves. The story would work better if the twins swapped roles. And we got way more details about Amy's new love life. That's what I'm most interested in. I give Sweet Valley Twins number 8, first place, a 7 out of 10.